Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to Ageless Blessings with Brenda Pierce. You've come to the right place for candid conversations, inspiration, and empowerment. Join me with my very special guests as we bring you media that matters on the Divas That Care network. For more about the Divas and to listen to various podcasts, visit www.divasthatcare.com. Now let's get on with the show.
Hi, and welcome to Ageless Blessings Radio with Brenda Pierce. I'm here to triage body, mind, and spirit with some amazing people that I have been aligned with, and no less today is Jim Phillips. Jim Phillips is someone that I've known for a few years now. In fact, I have an autographed copy of his book, The Key to Life, Living in Full Expression. So just to acquaint you to Jim, if you haven't heard of him yet, he is a life strategist, author, speaker, and business coach. And for over 30 years, he has been inspiring others to higher levels of achievement and understanding through his strategy sessions, coaching, writing, and presentations. One of Jim's gifts is his ability to help others understand and apply complex spiritual concepts to their personal life, which has resulted in their creating and experiencing more of who they truly are and what they truly desire from life. So, as I mentioned, one of Jim's books, he's written a couple now, and he's been in another one that we both appear in as well. And his book, The Key to Life, Living in Full Expression, From Inspiration to Intention, is also something that has springboarded the movie Becoming the Keys, which is produced by Robin J., and features not only Jim, but Miguel Ruiz from The Four Agreements, Dr. Joe Vitale from The Secret, Dannion Brinkley from Saved from the Light, to name just a few. So if you want more information on Jim and his various projects and books and things, go to livingfullexpression.com. And you can contact Jim at livingfullexpression.com. And with no further ado, welcome to the show, Jim.
Hi, Brenda. How are you?
I am doing wonderful, and I'm especially happy when I have wonderful people like you sharing the airwaves with me, Jim. And so how are you doing?
I'm doing really well, and I appreciate the opportunity to be on a show again with you. It's been a while since we've spoken.
Yeah, it's been a while, and we just, it's just so amazing how many ways that we connect and interconnect, and, and I love the fact that we've been in a book together ourselves, sharing our wisdom, and here we are again, and you've been doing some amazing projects, like Becoming the Keys, the movie. That is really amazing to be aligned with such noteworthy people like Miguel Ruiz and Dr. Joe Vitale. And how did that come about?
It was an interesting process, as I know you do. You're on Facebook and other social media. When you see something that grabs your attention, you'll probably respond to it. And we respond to it in a way, not that we're looking for something out of it, but to support other people in the work that they're doing. And I'm part of another online group, and Robin J., the producer of the movie, had just posted something through this other group, and she had my movie, the movie I'm in, Becoming the Keys, is actually the third in a trilogy. So Robin had posted asking for reviews of her second movie because she was looking to get a distribution arrangement with the same company, actually, that was responsible for distributing What the Bleep Do We Know and also The Secret. So it was a big deal, and I wanted to support her in that any way that I could. So I watched her movie, I sent her a review, and after watching the movie, I just sent her a quick message, and I just said, after watching your movie, I said it was amazing to me how much your movie is in alignment with what I have in my book, The Key to Life, Living in Full Expression. And in the movie, we talk about 7 keys, and I've got a lot of different things in my book that would basically reflect a lot of the 7 keys that she has. Anyway, it was within a couple of days of that, she responded to my email and said that she had basically done her due diligence on me, gone to the website, reviewed part of my book, and she said, "You're very much in alignment with what I'm doing. I'm doing a third movie called Becoming the Keys. Would you like to be in it?" And she and I talked a couple of times because I wanted to make sure that it was something that I could get engaged in and wanted to. And so I ended up doing it. And it was a long process. It was probably 2.5 years, the whole process from saying yes to when the actual movie came out. But it was great,
Wow.
unbelievable.
Yeah, you just don't know, I love the inspiration from the Key to Life, Living in Full Expression, because there are keys, and you say there are 7 keys that you have found, but this information is ancient wisdom that is really key to modern living, isn't it?
It is, and the reason that term was used is because I want people to understand that what they're hearing today that is coming out under the label of New Age or I don't know, whatever any terms anybody wants to use as if they came up with this process. It's not. It's all truth, and it's information that's been available to us. However, we haven't been available to it. That's probably the easiest way to say it. So I use the term ancient wisdom because people resonate with that. They think that, okay, well, all that stuff that happened before is kind of cool, and I want to know what that's about. But it's information that just has never changed and was available to us. And if we can tap into that ancient wisdom and we can apply it to our daily lives, and actually apply it to who we are and how we experience and express in the world, we're going to find not only our lives are totally different from the way that we've experienced them to that point of making that commitment, but the world changes.
Right. Which is brilliant because so many people today tap into CNN, CBC, and they get the ticker tape of gloom, doom, and despair that happens, and the loop happens every 30 minutes. So it seems like it's new breaking news, but it's a repetition of this rehash of tragedy. And yes, things are happening around us. But the thing is, though, we have the potentiality in any moment to change our experience of life, and that is like that should be like the easy button that we've been looking for at Staples, right?
Right. Yeah, when you were saying that about the 30-minute loop, we can say that about history in general, because we keep, as humanity, doing the same stupid things, and as the definition goes, we expect different results, and it's just not going to happen. And it's not until we get to the realization that everything that happens across the planet is as a result of our thinking, our believing, our actions, choices that we take. And if we would each just take responsibility for our own lives, and by that I mean every thought we have, every belief we hold, every action that we take, and we do it in alignment with the way we would like to experience ourselves and the way we would like to experience the world, then the world reflects that. But I think too many people are looking for any excuse not to do that. And so we continue to hold on to the history, and the history saying, okay, this can't be done, or I can't do it, or I'm not good enough, or so-and-so won't do it, therefore why should I do it? And it just creates this dense muck that we're in right now.
Yeah. And the thing is, though, as we rehash this muck, our younger generations look up to us for leadership, and if we're rehashing that muck, then that creates more of that muck and mire for them, too. And yet, some of the most enlightened people on the planet today are the younger generation, and it's us trying to catch up with them, really, because they have really come into the world in a different heightened state, even though technology all around us is changing the world as we see it. When you look in the eyes of a younger person these days, especially babies, they're so full of potentiality, and yet we live with fear around them. So it's for us to try to lose that fear, that false expectations appearing real, and really realize the potential of what we have our hands on today, which will change the world, won't it?
Yeah, I believe it will. I think with the younger people, and I do agree with you that some of these younger people that are coming into the world now are absolutely incredible. And I do think they are here to show us older folks the way life should be. But the challenge is we, or the vast majority of the older people, are not open and receptive to it because we're still stuck in that loop. And when you look at world leaders who are doing everything in their power to keep us under their control with information that's not true, or that would prevent us from perhaps doing things that we know we can do, should do, want to do, and certainly are capable of doing, I think that I don't know that the younger folks are going to get frustrated with it. I don't know that they're going to say, okay, well, what's the use? Because I think they came into this world as they did, and they're extremely powerful, and I think they understand that. But I think it's time that those of us who are here facilitating that process with them, because I do believe that's what we're here to do, we've got to get more and more people that are of the older generations to be open and receptive to it and be willing to stand up against those who would do anything they can to prevent us from coming to the realization of the truth, which is that we are these powerful beings who can do anything we want to do.
Yeah, and not lose the frustration is, and we've seen that with the increased rates of suicide and in all age groups, and in this day and age, I'd love for you, while you have the forum here on this half hour, and of course we can always have you back to expand on some of these concepts, but wondered if you could share some of the 3 most key tips you can share with us today regarding living in full expression, regardless of what age and stage of life you're in.
I'm just going to do what comes to mind. And the first thing that popped in my head when you just asked that was that we're not who we believe ourselves to be. And that's critical. We're not who we believe ourselves to be. And the word belief is intentional there, because who we believe ourselves to be is who we see when we look in the mirror. It's who we experience when things happen, when we have a difficult situation, or who we believe we are is the victim of life and what life would throw at us. And I believe that the purpose of life, and that is why are any of us here, the big reason, is the progressive realization of the truth. And so as we move through this process, and I have given this process a label called From Freedom to Freedom, as we move through that process, it is a matter of gaining the realization of who we are, truly who we are and what we're capable of doing, why we're here to experience and express ourselves, which I believe is the reason why we're here, to gain a greater understanding of who we are and what we're here to do. And then how we do that is up to us. That's the choices that we get to make, and how we're going to experience and express ourselves in this world. And it's done within the context of the experiences created, in my opinion, specifically for that purpose. So I would say first and foremost, it really is just about recognizing that we're not who we believe ourselves to be. And I guess alongside that, it's about recognizing that we're way more powerful than we believe ourselves to be, that there isn't anything that we can't do. And if we would just get out of our own way and tap into that unlimited potential that we are, we would see that is the truth, that is what we have available to us, but we've got to be receptive to it.
Right. Yeah, a lot of people look to others and think I can never emulate what they're doing, and yet we can. It's a decision, isn't it?
Yes, and when I do presentations, I reference the movie that I was fortunate enough to be in, Becoming the Keys. And in the movie, in addition to Joe Vitale and Daniel Brinkley and Don Miguel Ruiz, there are 13 other people like me who are experiencing life the best that we can, looking at ways that we can improve our experience of life. And each of us shares an experience we've had in life that has been extremely challenging and difficult. And it was everything from some women who had been brutally raped more than once, who have overcome that trauma, and now they're doing extremely well, and they've overcome it. One gentleman was a professional hockey player, actually from Canada, was a professional hockey player, Doug Smith. And he had a horrendous accident playing hockey and became a quadriplegic, and he's no longer a quadriplegic. He is fully functioning, and you would never know it. And when I share those stories, the reason I do it is that when people have something like that happen to them, they don't know how they're going to move through it either. They don't. Just as you and I don't, when we have a traumatic experience, we don't know how we're going to move through it. But what we do is we tap into that desire within us that gives us that strength and that courage, and I will just say that inner wisdom in terms of what to do to move through it, so that we get through it and we gain from it whatever it was that we were to gain. And that's always there. And, most of us would say, I wouldn't want to go through that experience again, but it was a blessing in disguise because it allowed me to better understand who I am and what I'm capable of doing.
Yeah, which is brilliant because, exactly. And those stories are meant to inspire us so that when we do face our own dark night of the soul or whatever it is that we're dealing with, if God brings you through it, He's going to bring you through to it. If He brings you to it, He brings you through it. If
Right.
you are looking for that, you have all the magic inside of you to make those transitions happen, which is why movies like Becoming the Keys, you are the key to your own life, and living in full expression is definitely the way to do it. And your wisdom and your own personal experiences, Jim, really are wonderful, and for bringing this forward and doing all that you have to make life better, not only for yourself but for all those that you touch in every various way. And one more tip that you have, I know it's sitting right there on the tip of your tongue to share with us too today. Go ahead, you have the floor.
Well, it's one of the, I don't want to say it's a mantra, but it's one of the phrases that I use quite often. It's in my book, it's on my website, and that is, there is no right path, there is no wrong path, there is your path, follow it. And I use that because I don't want somebody to look at me and say, I want to be like Jim. Nobody wants to be like me. I have had experiences nobody wants to have, as others have had experiences I don't want to have. So I don't want to be like anybody else. I'm not intended to be anybody else, and nobody else is intended to be me. So each of us needs to recognize that we are here as unique individuals, divine expressions, if you will. We each have our own soul experiences that we are intended to have, and each decision that we make going through life is a part of that soul experience and that soul expression. And to try to follow somebody else and do it like somebody else might not open us to the full extent of the experience that we're supposed to have. In fact, I think many times it causes us not to tap into the truth of who we are because we're too focused on what somebody else has said or somebody else has done. Now, interesting part of that is that when I share that with people, they have this sigh of relief, like, oh, wow, you mean I don't have to live up to everybody else's expectations? I don't have to be like this person. I don't have to do that because somebody said this. And that's true. You do not. But then they go, oh, my God, that means I'm responsible. And then that the weight of that comes in. And, the interesting thing is that we're responsible whether we're aware of it or not. The choices we're making are resulting in the experiences we have. So we already are tapping into that power, but not in the direction perhaps that we would say we would want life to be heading. And so when people recognize they are in charge, okay, well, make better decisions. Make decisions that are in alignment with the you want to experience and the world you want to experience. And then as a result of that, everyone around you is going to say, I want some of that. And they're not going to be like you, but they're going to look at how you're operating in the world, how you're expressing in the world, and they're going to tap into their own innate magnificence and start living from that. And that's the ripple effect that I think all of us would like to see throughout the world.
Absolutely. And on page 59 of The Key to Life, there is this statement that of great brilliance and insight. It is unfortunate that we are too often fearful of what might happen instead of emboldened by what we might create. So fear is a big, big element, isn't it?
It's a tremendous element. It is what holds us back. And fear, as most of us think about it, we're just thinking about it, off the top of our heads. It's going to be, the rhino running into the room and busting up everything that you're, around you, and you're sitting there and you're afraid of this big rhino. And it's not. It's the insidious fear that we have about. It's the insecurities we have. It's about not fitting in, about not feeling that we're worthy, about not feeling that we're capable of doing the things that we want, or feeling insignificant, I guess, or not relevant, I think is another huge part of that. And when I'm coaching people, what I hopefully get them to embrace is that if they were not relevant, they wouldn't be here. There would be absolutely no reason for somebody to be here if there wasn't some relevancy to it. And then I kind of switch that around and I say, well, how relevant is the world if we're not here? It's not. So we just need to understand that that this experience of life that we're having is all about us revealing to ourselves the truth of who we are and living in full expression of that. And then another quote that's in my book is, as we live in full expression of our truth, the divine is in full expression.
That's right. That's powerful, really, really powerful. And the thing is, even though we think we're unique and individual and insignificant in our own right, yet, the relevancy of the whole the whole living experience is irrelevant, as you say, if we aren't realizing the practicality of each breath, each moment, each act that we do. And that we are really all in this together, aren't we?
Yes, we are. And I think that's the hardest thing for most people to understand. And all we have to do is look at the divisions we've created around ourselves individually, then collectively, based on religion, race, or country of origin. I mean, anything. We look at everything that we've done to create some sort of separation, or to identify ourselves as being different from everybody else. And yet, the essence of who each one of us is exactly the same. We just come in a different package. And, one of the things that I have been expressing, and this has to do with a lot of what's happening in this country and the immigration issues and things like that, because I'll hear evangelical people talk about God's will being this and God's will being that, and my thought is, what if God's will is that these immigrants continue to cross our border and other borders in other countries in order to enable us to tap more into the full compassion that we're supposed to share towards one another?
Right.
And people look at me like I'm crazy, but how can we say that's not it? We can't. Yeah.
To be judgmental is creates more of that separatism and fear that we're trying to bridge with messages and words like what we're sharing today.
Right.
It's incredible. It truly is.
Yeah. Crazy. It's crazy.
It is.
But
so being
being
in full expression and being together and understanding thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven, really taking that to heart and losing the fear, living in more expression, and becoming the key to the success, the fulfillment of our life while we're here. Because as a nurse, I've seen a lot of people pass, and when they're in, I've seen people being very fearful and realize that they didn't live their life to their fullest potential and have a lot of regret. There is a little bit of a movable expiration date oftentimes in our lives, and we can move it so far, but then again, it's going to happen. So this is why I really love your message, Jim, and why I wanted you to be on Ageless Blessings, because at any point in this life experience, we can choose to change, right?
Every moment we're at a choice point, and we choose how we're going to experience the moment. We can choose to be happy. We can choose to be sad. We can choose to be a victim. We can choose to be the beneficiary of everything that life has to offer. And it doesn't mean life becomes easy. Life is difficult. There's no getting around that. In fact, Scott Peck, in his book, The Road Less Traveled, that's his first 3 opening words in the book. Life is difficult. And once you understand that, the fact that life is difficult no longer matters. And I think those are such true, powerful words, because it is difficult. I mean, look at the stuff that we do to ourselves, much less other people. And yet the opportunity exists for us to be full of joy and happiness and compassion and do incredible things for ourselves and for other people and make the world a more enjoyable place without bringing more difficulty to it than is already here. And the difficulty that we experience for the most part is for the benefit of us gaining a greater understanding of how powerful we are, of how we can overcome any obstacle that might be placed in front of us.
Yeah, that is so true. Life can either be a grand adventure or a great tragedy. It's for us to choose. And Jim, I'd love for you in these closing moments to share with our listeners how they can get a hold of watching the movie, the Becoming the Keys.
You can go to my website, at livinginfullexpression.com. I do have quite a few copies, and if somebody wants it signed by me, I can certainly do that. But it's available on there. And I've put together what I call the Life Bundle, and it has the Key to Life Living in Full Expression, the book. It also has the ebook From Inspiration to Intention, and it has the movie Becoming the Keys all together as a bundle. And it's about a $20 or $25 savings if you get all three together, as opposed to somebody buying it independent. But if somebody doesn't want the full package, certainly the movie can be purchased by itself. But just go on to livinginfullexpression.com, and all that information is there. And I'll be happy to ship it out to folks.
Absolutely wonderful. And yes, and I do highly recommend. I have both books. I have the ebook and the actual physical book of The Key to Life. And Jim has been inspiring and empowering people for many, many years to break through and to understand that you are the miracle. You are the key to your life. Don't wait for fear to step in and hold you back from your full magnificence, because you do deserve to live your fullest life expression. Discover your talents, make a difference. And even if you are the best coffee server in the world, the best barista, that makes a difference. It does. You know, you touch lives in whatever you do, and don't wait to be on your deathbed to decide that you could have done things differently. The time for change is right now, right, Jim?
Absolutely. It is the only time that exists. So yes, the time is always now for change.
Yeah, absolutely. Jim, I want to thank you for this time together. I'm always more inspired every time we connect, and keep on doing wonderful and fabulous things. You really are a gift and are making a difference in the world. So thank you for your time and your talents, and for being here with us today on Ageless Blessings.
Thank you.
Okay, and for that, thank you very much for listening. And until we meet again, have a wonderful body, mind, and spirit-filled week. Bye-bye for now.
You have been listening to Ageless Blessings with Brenda Pierce. The views and opinions have been those of the participants and are not to be taken as medical advice. For more Ageless Blessings, visit www.facebook.com/agelessblessings. Until next time, have a wonderful body, mind, and spirit-filled week.